Yep.
Hello, Myra. Hello, Cody. Can you hear me? Okay. And Myra can. All right.
Oh, okay. You can hear me now, right?
Oh,
No.
could you repeat that?
Can you hear me?
Just barely.
Oh,
But I've been having computer problems. Philip had to let me in.
let's see what I can do here.
I'm gonna see if I can increase the volume on my end.
That's what I'm trying to do also. Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
You do. Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I put the volume up. I had thought that sometimes when I come into these things, I get there before the room is open and it doesn't connect when the room opens. So I thought that that's what had happened. So I was on my way to get out so I could get back in when you said, "Hi, Myra." And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not on anymore. So I was very confused. That's why the delay. There's Jim and Reg is there and Rob Mora is there and Pamela is there. So we have Pamela, Reg, Jim, and me. We actually have a quorum. So we could give it one more minute, but we technically could have a meeting.
Yes, I haven't heard from anyone that they weren't going to be able to make it, with the exception of Guilford and Amy, who
Oh,
regrettably are not going to be able to join us today. So Rob will be our only invitee.
okay. Rob, do you have a email that I can send a question to? Don't know if he's
Yes,
there.
yes, I
You do.
do.
Okay.
So it's last name Morrar,
Yep.
first initial, and at amherstma.gov.
Okay. Okay. I was someplace yesterday and I thought this can't be legal. So,
Sure.
and it's a new building. So I was
Okay.
going to ask the question, but I won't do it here just in case I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
No, no.
Right, so
Okay. Now we have Sarah. So we have
yes.
5 out of 7. I think we can go for it.
All right, I will get started by reading the greeting. The Commission for Persons with Disability is meeting virtually on Tuesday, February 10th, 2026, pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, which extended the ability of public bodies to meet in a fully remote or hybrid manner. Members of the public who wish to access the meeting may do so via Zoom or by telephone. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means.
Okay. So Pamela, because this came as a big PDF packet, it seems to have been scanned in. So it's not easy for me to read it. In fact, it says it's an empty document at the moment, although I was able to read it before. Reg, do you use JAWS?
Yes,
Is this packet in a format that's easy for you?
I have not checked it out today.
You didn't open the packet. Okay.
No.
Okay. It came this time as a scanned image file of all the particular items in one packet. And although I was able to OCR it, I can't interact with it. So for me anyway, it's a problem. If it's not a problem for Reg, then, then I don't have, my skills aren't as good as his. But I think it says it's a scanned document and it's operating like a scanned document. And those are by and large inaccessible PDFs. So I don't know what we can do about that, but we used to get Word documents and they were easy to read.
Right. So
Um,
it's been sort of a harried week, so I just did everything very quickly. I can send the documents separately. Generally, I have sent them in the past, I believe, as PDFs rather than as Word documents. I have to load them into the town website as a PDF, which is why you receive them as one large PDF. So the packet can be loaded onto the town website as
Right.
one document, as
Right.
opposed to multiple documents, but I can return to sending you back
Yeah, I
multiple
understand that
documents.
it works for almost everybody, but if you use JAWS, PDFs don't always cooperate with JAWS, and PDFs that are created from text files are fine, but these are scanned, and they are not fine. You can't get very much about the format. You're lucky if you can get the text. Oftentimes the letters run together and 2 or 3 words end up as one word. There's nothing perfect about it. So because it's a scanned image to begin with, and then it has to be processed, it really doesn't work well. Anyway, Reg, if you find that you have no problem with it, I think you need to weigh in on that. So let us know, because maybe it's just me, but I don't think so. Anyway, okay, so the first thing on the agenda, we need a roll call. Right. So Reg, say you're here.
Reg is here.
Okay, Saren,
Here.
Pamela,
Here,
Jim,
Here.
Cody. No, and Ian.
Here.
Oh, Cody is here.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, my computer did not announce your arrival. Normally it does, but for some reason I missed it. Okay, and Ian. No, Ian. Okay, so we have one person is not here at the moment. Okay, the next thing we need, does anyone have any announcements that aren't on the agenda? No. Okay. Oh, I guess I have an announcement that we need to come up with an answer to the people in Northampton and East Hampton who thought about having a reading thing. Did anyone see that email?
Not ringing any bells.
I did not either.
You did, Pamela, did you see it? You did.
no,
No? There was an email from Amy in Northampton. I guess we can put it on the next month agenda. She had an idea about what to do for Disability Awareness Month in July. Which I think I understand why it's in July because it's the date of the ADA, but it's not a great date in this valley for doing things. Anyway, okay, so we'll deal with it next month. If people haven't seen it, then it had to do with reading things to little kids. Okay, so we can go to the first thing on the agenda, which I think had to do with the snow. But we don't have any more snow, so I don't know what the problem is.
so so the first thing on the agenda was supposed to be snow and ice removal, but neither Guilford or Amy are able to join us, so maybe we could go back to that discussion at a later date. And since Rob is here now,
Can
Okay.
I,
with the MOD
I
grant for Munson Library.
can I insert a very quick note on that?
Yes.
So I during the past big snowfall, I could not get any help to assist me, and my neighbor came to help me. And I called the next morning again. No snow plow, no driveway plow. So I decided to call the police, non-emergency. I was very sorry to hear them. I mean, to talk with them, but in half an hour, they sent somebody to plow my road. And 10 minutes later, my snow guy came and plowed my driveway. So, at some point, and I looked at it on the internet, and there wasn't really a very easy way to find what number that people like me face in situations like this. So I was kind of just calling that non-emergency police number. So I wonder if we can put it out more clearly on our
Do
website.
I remember that Guilford told you to call his cell phone?
Yeah. Can I suggest maybe that we come back to this topic because I
Yeah, we
think it's
can do
going to
that.
be a longer discussion.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Rob, you were going to talk to us about the Munson Library project.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So you may all remember that this time last year, we had received the MOD grant to do work at the Munson Library, and we were unable to move that into contract and proceed with that, and ultimately reapplied for the same grant, same scope of work, and that was awarded. The awards came out the second week in December. We received $150,000 to proceed with the project that we had designed. Nothing has changed in the project since you have seen it. Initially, you saw the proposal for a walkway from the main center entrance point of the Munson Library around the south side to the door to the Great Hall with a small section of ramp, about 12 feet of ramp and some handrails. After going through the planning board process, the site plan review process, we made a slight adjustment to that outside corner that wraps around the front courtyard to avoid a landscaping item that's there and the planning board thought was worth saving. So that was a slight adjustment. That plan was given to you last year at some point when I last visited to discuss this. And we are in the procurement process right now. I expect the bid posting to be advertised in the next 2 weeks, and bids due, around the first or second week of March. So we have $150,000 from MOD. We have about $25,000 of the accessibility capital commitment to put towards that, which aligns with both our cost estimates and our actual bids that we received last year when we went through the process, but was unable to award it. And like I said, we're hoping to get that into contract this mid-March, end of March.
Thank you. Any questions or for Rob or comments?
Yeah, I mean, my recollection, Rob, is that you got bids last year, but they came in over the amount. And so and I think you just said that you had adjusted the amounts to reflect the realities out there. Am I making things up or?
We
No,
got more money than we got last year.
Not at all. And I guess, we'll look at the positive of having to go out, reapply for that proposal. If there is one, this is it. Last year we had $100,000
Right.
grant. We received bids that came in just under $170,000. We were prepared to use capital money that we had available. We were going to proceed with that project if we could have, but the timing didn't allow us. We were too late to get that to bid to contract. ultimately, we reapplied using our more current numbers, and we were awarded $150,000 this time, and we'll be making less of a contribution out of our capital funding.
So what I say to it is if you feel like making a bigger contribution out of the capital funding, those parking spaces in the front of the Munson Library were supposed to have been part of the project as we originally conceived of it. And somehow when it was put together, they weren't there, but there were remember we had this discussion of how to make those parking spaces in front of the Munson Library connect, in a way that people could get out of their cars and get up to the building. So if you feel like there's like maybe a little extra money you could put to it, I don't know what kind of money is involved in converting those parking spaces, but that was supposed to be in the original project and somehow it didn't get there. And it's good that it didn't get there because it wouldn't have been funded anyway, because this cost 150,000 for what we thought was going to be less in the first place. But anyway, that the project is not done with this piece because of the parking, but it's great that you're doing it. Do I recall that the walkway from the street up to the Munson Library is like stone?
It's paver, and you're absolutely right. I recall multiple times talking to this board about the parking lot and I think even the sidewalk, the public sidewalk that runs along the front of the Munson has its issues as well. That's a project that we need to design with Public Works is more costly than we think we'll be able to handle on our own with our capital funding. So it's on the list of something that we need to look into further and design to make that both the parking spaces and the sidewalk across the front of the Munson in better condition for accessibility. When you do come onto the property, it's all paver, patio block type paver
Okay.
surface. It's in good condition. We don't have any really high raised, areas that are tripping hazards. And it's just something, it's a maintenance item that we need to keep an eye on and make sure that remains in good condition for passing over it.
So you're going to match the pavers with the new walkway to the side, around to the side?
No, we're going to pour concrete and match and blend that right into the surface of the pavers that exist. We're going to come off perpendicular from that main wide paver walkway that leads to the front door with a concrete sidewalk that wraps around the south side of the building.
Okay. But it's going to look like it belongs there.
It is. It's going to
Okay.
be great.
Okay.
It's going to look good.
Yeah. Because my recollection is that it's not a macadam walk there. It's nice.
It is,
So
and
yeah.
we're not using asphalt. We're going to use poured concrete and
Yeah.
black metal railing for the ramp railing system.
Cool. Okay. So at this point, are you recommending that people park in the church parking lot in order to get access?
I'm not, because I think the sidewalk is in just as poor a condition as the parking spaces is across the front of the front of the building. So I think that might even be more challenging than the parking space, but that's just an opinion. Parking is available on the church parking lot. They do allow that along the property line, but you do still need to come across the front of the property to the sidewalk that needs work.
Oh, isn't the side, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought the walkway was going to go from the south door down to the driveway there too. No?
No, it's not going to go to the church parking lot. It's going to come
Oh,
from the south door. It's going to come right along the building towards the front,
and then connect to the
turn 90
walkway.
degrees across the front
Gotcha.
of the courtyard and connect about halfway into that front walkway.
Because if it also could go straight into the road, I don't know what the slope is there, so I don't know if that's possible, but that would at least make it much easier for people to park if they
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, sorry. In fact, what I think might even be a better solution in the future is to go directly over to the church parking lot off of the south entrance and formalize our use of those parking spaces, and that's something we just need to pursue in the
Okay.
future. Coming to the front, like you just described, would require removal of more landscape plantings. And I didn't look at the grading in that area to see how that would
No, I
connect.
was thinking just to go directly to the church driveway
Oh, okay.
from
So
the
that's
door.
okay. I thought
That's
you were,
what you just said.
yeah, that's what I,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought you were
yeah.
saying to the front sidewalk at the,
No, no,
towards the road.
going to the front seems awfully silly to me if you're trying to go in the south door. This is a
Yep.
lot more pushing your wheelchair than it would be just to go from the south door across what is now the lawn into the church driveway.
Yes, I like that too. It will require an easement and some sort of an agreement with the church and
Okay,
is an
Yeah.
easy add-on to this project if we are able to, work that out. There are other options for the church on what they can do with that section of their parking area that, angled parking, might generate some more parking spaces. So it's a longer thought out need for the church and their own use
yeah.
to consider before we could kind of also get the benefit of that. But it is in our mind as well.
So how does that uh get facilitated? You have to contact the church board. I mean,
Yeah,
is that something you can do simultaneous or someone can do simultaneously with all the other buildings so that if it turns out they say it's okay, it could be put into the project?
we can definitely start to feel that out, and our facilities manager can talk with their facilities maintenance team and see if that's even an option right now. In
Okay,
either case, even if we're not able to incorporate it into this scope right now, it is easily adaptable to do that with
okay.
what we're building in the
Well, I
future.
guess in a way, I'm thinking that it's probably a lot less expensive if they say we can use it than rebuilding, like taking some of that property in front of the library to put the handicap spaces in. It's probably easier just to go down to the road, down to the driveway. So I don't know. It seems like it could be. I mean, I'll leave that to the people who know what they're talking about to actually do it. But there's two ways to get good parking there. One of them might cost more, but it might, and be, be, um, in front of the building. And if the church is willing, that would be really terrific to go sideways because that would be, I think, cheaper and in many ways safer. Well, no, you'd have to cross the church driveway, so maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, okay.
Okay.
Does anyone have more questions about that project?
Yeah, I have one. Rob, you said that the project was going out to bid maybe in the first or second week of March. When would you expect to get proposals back?
It's going to be posted this month. We should receive bids by either, depending on it's in procurement right now, so their 2 week cycle, bids will either be due the first or the second week of March. There'll be a 2 week advertisement that leads up to that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Well, it seems like it's going to get done, so that's great.
Yes.
So people will be able to just go into the south end of the south entrance to vote and be able to go out of the south entrance to vote. People will be able to get into a lot of the activities there. So that's very cool. It's going to have a door people can use. It's going to have secondary egress because right now there's only really, for people with mobility issues, there's only one way in and one way out, and it's not big. So that's very good. Okay. Do we have any other questions on anything for Rob since he's here?
As a matter of fact, I have one. Well, I don't know, some months ago when we were talking about the MOD funds and town initiatives and stuff like that. We were also talking about the bank center, and it seemed as though, in my recollection, the town was just going to use some of its capital funds to do improvements at the bank center, and those included some ADA compliance issues. So I just wondered where that was at this time.
Yeah, the Bangs project is a primarily systems upgraded project. So sprinkler system, fire alarm, HVAC. That's the bulk of the project. It's a $2.8 million project, but we are exceeding the 30%
Right.
threshold,
Yep.
and we are achieving full accessibility compliance throughout the entire building. The one exception to that is the kitchen, the commercial kitchen that's used in the large activity room. We have asked the state for a variance, or we're asking the state for a variance to allow time, 3, maybe 5 years at the most, to let us put together a plan to rebuild that kitchen in its place. So all other items have been identified on a comprehensive list created by the architect. I'd say 2/3 of those items are incorporated into the project, and the general contractor is handling, and the remaining items are being funded and performed by our in-house facility staff. In any case, the entire list minus the kitchen will be completed by the completion of the project, maybe later this year, early next year, when that contractor is complete.
So are we going to have any, um, are you going to bring any of those to us? I'm thinking about things like signage, um, other things that are discretionary as to how you do it. I mean, door hardware is door hardware. It has to be what it has to be. Signage has to be what it has to be, but there are lots of ways to do it.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a sign layout that's been done by the architect and a sign consultant for the building. It has to go through its final approval process, mainly for color and style than anything else.
right.
But it is general.
Are they having visually impaired people look at those signs to see if they think they look okay?
Ours, to be honest, I'm not sure what our sign consultant has done, but I will follow up on that, and we can certainly bring the signage plan. It's really early. That's going to be one of the last parts of the project, but we can bring the signage plan back and talk to you about that. It's very general wayfinding sign, both on the exterior of the building and at the lobbies and the primary entrances to the spaces. It's not getting down to every door number. We just didn't have enough funds to get to that level. That would be a second phase for the signage package. But I can review that and then get back
Yeah.
to you and talk about that sometime in the future when I'm more familiar with it. I'm not at the moment.
Okay, so actually the whole building will not be in compliance because if you don't have door signage, it isn't in compliance.
Yes,
Because
it will.
if you're over the 30%, you have to do all of it.
We have to do it for the public spaces, and that's what's in the application. It's in the contract. It's not all the other doors throughout the building that are not public spaces. There will be full compliance with the AAB as part of this project.
So what are the non-public spaces?
There's janitors' rooms, there's closet
Okay.
spaces, there's staff only,
Okay.
office spaces that the public are not, don't have access to. All the public spaces that require signs will have them.
So I forget this, Pamela. Which is it, the ADA or the AAB that requires public spaces to be accessible? One of them does and one of them doesn't. And I can't remember which one is which. Um, do you remember, Rob? I don't remember.
The AAB is the one that requires only public spaces to be
Right. But the
accessible, not
ADA requires other
staff
spaces.
spaces as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And in fact, I've been involved enough with the state, rewrite and drafts of the AAB. That's the direction they're going if they
Mhm.
ever promulgate that new updated regulation, it will be extending, into the staff spaces as well.
Yeah, because what if
Okay.
there is a staff member that is disabled?
Yeah.
And needs
yeah.
to use it, right? So
Absolutely. Well, that's why they have to do the kitchen. But the kitchen is a monumental expense. So I understand why you're asking for a variance for that.
We have to,
Signage,
yeah, in fact, we have to
not.
do the kitchen because volunteers are considered
Right.
part of the public.
Right.
So it's not just a staff only used space.
Right.
We do have a staff kitchen or a employee only used kitchen in the building. But because we allow public and volunteers who are considered public into that commercial kitchen for activities and for events and programs, that is required to be accessible.
Okay, so since you're here, and since it is February 10th, and since the next MOD grant, which we probably won't get because they gave us so much this year, but never hurts to try. The deadline for it is probably something like May 31st, like it was last year. So that's coming up, although it seems like the snow will never melt. I bet it will some point. Um, so do you have any ideas as to what you might be thinking that the next MOD grant would try to do?
No, we haven't, as staff, we haven't talked about that yet. We do have facilities capital money that, projects are happening. So I think as it gets closer, like we typically do, and we're happy to come talk and get any recommendations you have as well. But typically we'll come together and decide if there's a project that fits the scope and the need that we'll work with the MOD grant application. But we don't have one in mind yet.
how
Anyone on,
about
did anyone in this group have anything in mind?
yeah,
Okay.
Mill Valley, the public places and the public restrooms there.
You mean Mill River?
Miller, right, right.
Okay.
I brought this up once when I experienced it personally. And
Oh, the restroom at Mill River.
yeah, yeah.
Aha.
Next to the
It has come up here several times.
Yeah. So that could be, I think that should be
So
placed.
the public restrooms at Mill River, which I guess is part of facilities and not your thing. Is that right, Rob? That is not accessible at all.
Yeah, yeah, I am facilities with Jeremiah LaPlante. That building is one that's kind of fallen between Public Works managing and overseeing over the years, and now we're going to take a look at it. So I've got another project at Mill River this spring, and I know you have brought that up before. We're going to look at the doorway and clearance issues and see, we'll really understand what needs to be done. We haven't been in the building yet, so we're not
Okay.
familiar.
I think that given that that's an extremely public space and
Yes.
it has a lot of use by a lot of people, families, groups that have parties, that use that pavilion, anything. That's an extremely public space. I'm sure I can't imagine that this group wouldn't support something really on a large scale done there because it's not accessible at all and it's an important use space for this town.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Saren, for bringing that back. Okay. All right. So this is cool. So we look forward to the Munson Library and we can dream about Munson and the Mill River Pool. Okay. And if we need supporting documentation for the Mill River project, other than from this committee, there might be some other town groups that would weigh in on it based on the people that they send to, the activities that they have
Right.
at Mill River that have been problematic for them. And I don't really know what those groups would be. It might even have to do with the town summer programs or anything like that.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
maybe LSSE or whatever they're called now, rec department.
Right.
Amherst Neighbors could be one of those groups. That's what
Yeah.
we do the annual picnic there, and we were faced with that issue.
Well, Amherst Neighbors for sure.
And
But the
Myra,
rec department,
I was just
yeah,
gonna add, this is Ian. I
yep,
was gonna add Capacidad. It's a after school program at Fort River. And they do a summer program. They're a nonprofit. They're not through the town, but they have students with disabilities sometimes.
okay.
Okay.
So those are three supporting documents that that it would be good to put as part of the application because I think MOD does care about that. All right. So, I mean, I think I don't know what kind of money that's going to run into, probably more than we can imagine right now. But that would be a really good thing to start to look into when the snow goes away and you can actually get into the
Yes.
building.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And also you saw that the Jones Library variance was approved, right?
I did see that.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now there's going to be a air curtain, they say there, a heat curtain, whatever. You know what I mean? Like by the door, because they're both going to be open at once.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
and that's the only way that they could imagine doing it without destroying the vestibule. And I guess it had to be that way. But I am concerned. I don't know if the library people are, but I am concerned about the amount of hold that's going to go in there. And it's not because wheelchair users are going to be the ones who push the button. Kids are going to push the button.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of kids pushing the button, and those doors are going to be open a lot. So I mean, I'm worried about the heat loss there.
Yeah, the systems help, but they're not perfect. You see them more often at, like a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts, and they use them in very high traffic areas to help with that. Um, uh, but yeah, it's noted.
I mean, if it was just a place that was going to be frequented by adults and, people who really need to push the button, we're going to push the button, that would be fine. But it's not going to be like that. You know that. It's an attractive nuisance, that button. And every 5-year-old that can reach it is going to push it. Okay. All right. Thank you for coming to our meeting. Thanks for getting that grant again. And hopefully it'll be done by the summer because that's what they require, right? It has to be done by the end of June.
Substantial completion by the end of June, it will
Yeah.
be. Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Good suggestion, Sarah, to do that bathroom. No, that's good. We have
Yeah.
to keep,
But
yeah,
then
because
there's
they didn't have consistent oversight of that building. It's like not my job. And now he does. So I think that's good.
but the thing, what will happen is there's so many other problems in that site.
Yep.
So then they're going to say,
Yep.
oh, we need to apply for bigger money and things like that and put it on hold. That's what has happened. So,
Well, unfortunately, they didn't have the right people uh, paying attention to that building. And I think he will, and I'm glad you put it on his radar screen, but every project ends up way bigger than first imagined because nothing is just about the size of the door. And hopefully there will be enough money between what the town can throw in and and that's why I think recreation has to be involved. And it's a huge recreation thing.
yeah.
It's not just a disability thing. And I would think that they could try to come up with money from various departments that would support it. Okay, next on the agenda is what, Pamela, please?
So next on the agenda is the handicap parking fines, if you
Oh,
and
yeah.
Jim wanted to discuss that.
Uh, I'm laughing because last week I went to a meeting of the Disability Policy Consortium, which is a group of people from these kinds of commissions. The meeting that I went to was a group of um, representatives from various disability commissions in the state. And everybody talked about what they're doing now. And the people from Somerville said that they were in the middle of a scholarship um, decision process for the 10, get this, 10 $5,000 scholarships that they offer to graduating seniors at Somerville High School every year. And I said, excuse me, did you say $50,000 are going from the handicap parking fines to high school student scholarships? And they said, yeah. And I said, you have that much money? They said, that is a quarter of what we have.
Wow.
$200,000 or thereabouts from parking fines in their fund. And they give the scholarships every year. And I think that the fund replenishes itself quite nicely every year. So I said, that's amazing. We have a whopping $1,200 in hours. Now, they're a bigger city for sure. But we have $1,200 and they have $200,000. So it seems to me that either people just don't park illegally in Amherst or nobody does anything about it. So I don't know about this. I don't know if people who are trying to park have a lot of trouble finding places to park. I don't know if there are lots of illegally parked cars. Can somebody speak to this? Because Amherst doesn't seem to be collecting fines.
I can say that I used to see the parking officers out all the time. And so you'd think twice about dashing into Black Sheep or something like that without putting a quarter in the meter. I never see them anymore. I don't know what that means. And it may just be, flukes of observation and stuff like that. I don't know how aggressively the town is pursuing all this. Just parking violations in general, let alone HP violations. Don't know.
So this is Pamela. I'm just want to point out that we've only been collecting fines coming to the commission for about 6 months because they just started in July.
Right.
And based on what Jennifer had shared with us in the past, we're about where we would expect to be because she said between $2,000 to $3,000 annually. So based on her past observation of what was collected in the town, we're probably where we should be. And now I don't know how long Somerville has been collecting their money. I don't know.
They give this out every year.
Yeah, but I don't know whether they're collecting $200,000. I assume some of that is rollover, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then we don't know what their fine is. And your fine is set, I think, at the lowest amount. Theirs might be set at a higher amount. But
right.
I think one thing that you might want to consider is whether to have conversations with the town manager about increasing the amount of the fine. And generally there's an ask each year about whether town departments who assess fines are going to increase their fine amount. So that might be a way to start the conversation to increase the amount of the fine.
I know you can go up to $300 for first offense. And I think we maybe 50 or 100. I don't know. It's very low.
Yeah,
and for sure on the other end of the state, maybe they have more money. I don't know. I mean, they do.
And
Some people
also,
do. Some people have a far less.
And also over there, the population, there are more people living in that.
Oh, yeah.
Here, Amherst, half of Amherst is the students who are struggling with their finances day to day, most of them. So I wouldn't support raising the dues amount, but more observance, more surveillance of that. Maybe by cameras, who knows? Maybe that might be cheaper.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I would bring um, that to your attention, and maybe not this year, but depending on what we can get in there, maybe we can offer a scholarship to a kid with a disability each year. Um, we don't have enough money in there now to do it, but it's sort of cool. It's not the only town that does it. But they announced that they were doing it, and some other town announced that they were doing it as well. So I just thought I'd bring it up because it's quite astounding that they can give away $50,000 in scholarships each year based on the money in that 22G account. So I just thought I'd let you know. Um, and let's see. So we'll just we'll try to let it accumulate. And how do the rest of the people feel about requesting anything about these fines?
I mean, well, I don't know what the amount is that our fines are now. If they're really 50 to $100, that doesn't seem like very much. And my own sense is um, I'm not sure how much students are using the busy lots, right in front, right around Johnny's in the Bang Center. Um, so I'm not sure they're going to be the ones who are going to be hit by this. So I mean, I think it's worth considering, especially if we're only asking, if we're only doing like $50 or something, that's a pittance. And people,
So who knows about that, Pamela? Who's
So,
responsible for this?
so Jennifer LaFountain was the person who responded back to my request for information about
Right.
the amount that was collected in the fines. And what she said is that there have been, at that time, which was in January, there have been 8 parking violations, and 6 of them had been paid, totaling $1,200. So the fine itself is $200.
okay.
And there's still outstanding another $400 that hopefully they'll collect at some point.
But there are 8 parking violations and have been 8 for 6
For 6
months.
months, yeah.
Um, that's like one a month.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, there are, I guess, 2 ways to look at this. We could think that we can have a conversation about enforcement to see if they can increase enforcement. And we could also think about, wow, we live in a community where people actually adhere to not parking in the spaces. And
So that's the question that I asked. I don't know. I mean, people who are trying to park cars, are a lot of people parked illegally or no?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
I
Well,
guess,
apparently in Somerville there are a lot.
And
well, people are
anecdotally, oh,
desperate for
sorry.
parking in Metro Boston. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Ian,
was just
say
gonna
that
say,
again.
anecdotally, I have seen cars without permits parked in the places, but I don't know like at what rate, if that's more than one a month or not. Um, so I don't know if my anecdotal evidence is helpful in this conversation.
So who does that ticketing? Is that the police? Is that I don't know. Who even does that kind of ticketing?
So the ticketing is done by a crew that I do believe report to the police, but I can double check on that. I'm not really certain. I know that there are like 3 or 4 parking enforcement officers.
Okay.
I'll put that on my list to ask about.
Yeah, that would be cool to know because I mean, either we're a model community or there could be a lot more money coming into the coffers that we could use, not only for scholarship, that was just the thing they brought up, but that money is ours. It rolls over from year to year. It's ours to use for the benefit of people with disabilities in the community. And, I don't think we can spend it without approval, maybe from Paul or someone else like that. But um, it would be nice if it was there because maybe there are things that we could ultimately fund. I mean, if it's going to accrue at 12, 1,500 a year, most of us are going to be dead by the time there's enough money in there to do anything with. But anyway, I just thought I would point out this was
Yeah,
really quite the event. They're like, wait a minute, you have what in your account?
I
Anyway,
was I was just looking into the paper that I got a few days ago. There was on the front page, there was a picture of Northampton Road in Amherst, on the way to Northampton. Um, and they were showing the sidewalks that have not been cleared, and they're like mountains because when the snow cleared from the roads, it just dumps on the sidewalks. So my wish would be to have funds that could assist the town with sidewalk clearance. Maybe it is getting some new equipment or something, providing that to people that are required to snowplow it or the businesses. So,
hmm, well, I think that equipment's much more expensive than you think, but
but we're going to
maybe
pay
not. Well,
what?
a decent snowblower is under 1,000, it's about $1,000. So, but the thing is, they have to have staff to use it,
Right.
and that's what they don't have.
But that big monies that we will collect from the fines will support all of those.
Well, if you're Somerville, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway, okay.
I would just say that that strikes me as a basic obligation of the town to make sure that sidewalks are
Yeah.
clear or that scofflaws are punished if they're not doing it. And I would hate to see, this commission, even if we were bringing in 100 grand a year, sort of, letting them get off from that responsibility. That's just me. But
Yeah. Well, this winter it's been particularly bad. A lot of the time there isn't that much room to put the snow. And, I mean, the thing is if you're shoveling and you have 2 feet of snow to shovel, it's hard. I mean, maybe you have a short little driveway, but if you have a nice piece of sidewalk, it is hard to shovel it. And so, I mean, I understand. I mean, I don't support that people don't, but it's hard to shovel it. It takes a lot of work. If you
Yeah.
have a machine, it's a lot easier. Um, all right. Anyway, so what we're going to find out is about collection of the fines. Are there a lot of people do they get warnings? Do they get ignored? Do they, not get ticketed? I don't know, but it would be nice to know what the level of actual people disobeying handicap parking regulations is and how many of them actually get citations for it. And then how many of them get collected? Because the collection, 6 months, $1,200, pretty funny actually. Okay. Next on the agenda.
Is the MAAB variance approval. Just,
Oh, the one from the Jones.
yes.
Okay. Anybody want to talk about that?
So the approval, I think, only went to to Myra, to you, and to Jim. So I don't think
Oh,
right.
I thought you got it.
I did,
You,
but I don't think it was shared out
oh,
with
got
it.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as far as I could tell reading their PDF, they approved the discussion that we had last time with the using the air curtain and the one push button for the two doors 40 inches apart. So we recommended that they approve it and they did. That's what I got out of it. Is that what it said?
That's it. Yeah. This was mostly just an announcement so that folks could know what had happened. And
Okay.
uh, the
Okay.
next thing on the agenda is the Worcester Accessibility Guide. And I did make a request to Worcester for permission to use the guide, which they did grant us. They did not have it in a format other than the format that I have sent out, which is a PDF. And I know that is quite difficult for editing purposes. So my suggestion would be that if folks are able to review the PDF and send me their thoughts on additions or changes, then I can then try to convert that into a Word document that I can share out. But I don't have a Word document from them to send to you.
Right. I tried to paste it into Word, and because it came from a PDF, a scanned PDF, I couldn't do it. If they created it, I'm sure they created it from a text file of some kind. And if there's a way we could get what they created it out of, because, they didn't create it as a scanned document. That's not how you create a document. So, if we can't get a hold of it, someone here is going to have to retype it into the format that can be edited, because we can't post it the way it is because it says
Right.
contact the city of Worcester.
Right.
So we can't do that.
Right. So they do not have it in an additional format. Like when I contacted them, the response was that the document had been created a long time ago, and they don't. The file that we have is the file that they sent. So I will have to probably ask one of our interns to retype the document. But they have not been able to provide us with a different format.
Well, I don't think we're going to be able to do anything with it unless it gets retyped, unless we can convert it. But converting it from a scanned document, I think, is pretty hard. I don't think you can do it. You can do it from a text document. But like anything that refers to Worcester has to go out of it.
Right,
And,
exactly.
And the thing is, it doesn't say MOD on there, which is, Ralph, what's his name? Chico? What's his last name? I don't know how he spells it, something like that. He's the guy who is in charge these days of the of the accessibility things between him and Jeff Dugan.
Mhm.
And that office is not mentioned on there. I don't know that I would tell people in restaurants to go to the AAB. I don't know. Who would you tell them to go to? And does the Amherst, like it says on there that you can go to the Worcester Human Rights Commission to get training for your employees, sensitivity training. Is that something that Amherst would have available or would want to have available?
So someone could make a request for training. It would probably come to our office, to the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion office. We have in the past worked with other businesses to do workshops, just a few where people have asked for specific information. So that is something that we could offer from the DEI department.
Okay.
The Human Rights Commission would be probably unlikely to offer training. They're a board made up of community members like this board, and they only meet monthly. So they do receive complaints. So if someone had a complaint that a particular restaurant was not accessible, that is a place where they could file a complaint with the town about a lack of accessibility, and that the complaints that go into the Human Rights Commission come to the DEI department for us to, and I'm putting air quotes here, Myra, to investigate. But we'll inquire about the complaint. It's a voluntary process. So both parties have to be willing to engage in the process. But if as a resident you filed a complaint against a restaurant and you allege that it was not, adhering to accessibility laws, we as the DEI department would contact them, tell them that a complaint has been filed, ask to sort of, speak with them, and then it would be up to the owner whether they wanted to engage with the DEI department or not. If they chose not to engage, then as a department, our next step would be to advise the person, the complainant, where they might be able to file a complaint. And so then we would probably refer them to MOD, to MAAB, and to the Mass Commission Against Discrimination. So as places where they might be able to, further pursue an allegation of discrimination based on a disability.
Okay, so
I think the next step will be for me to assign one of the interns that we've have to retype the document.
Mhm.
Right.
and take out every mention. I mean,
Right.
like of Worcester, but I guess you brought up something I hadn't even thought of. On theirs, it doesn't say where people should go if they have a complaint. So that's not what I was referring to, but it's actually good question as to whether we should have something on that. What I was referring to is they were saying for a restaurant owner, to if they wanted training for their staff on how to work with people with disabilities, that they offered that in Worcester, and I didn't know if we wanted to get into the business of offering that. So that was my question, but their thing doesn't refer, I don't think, to what Pamela was referring to, which is for the general public who reads this thing about restaurants to know what to do if they have a concern. Should that be on a restaurant page, or should that be on our general page? Any concern, if you have a concern about disabilities, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
how we
sorry.
should do that. Go ahead.
No, so what I was saying is that I do think that a restaurant could request the DEI department for training on how to for their staff on these issues. So rather than, you mentioned on the pamphlet, it says to the Worcester Human Rights, but
Yeah.
rather to Human Rights and Amherst, that would probably come to the DEI department. So
Right.
that's something that our department has done for, we've done some workshops for businesses in Amherst, but it's been very few.
And do you do them on disability or on race?
We've,
And
well, they've been on a couple of different topics. So in the past on race, and I think also on like cultural competency.
okay, because this thing is sort of different. Um, it's sort of like how do you, I mean, in some ways, if there were, Reg, do you have a service animal?
No.
No, I don't either.
Mhm.
Elise does though, and she used to be on the commission. And I mean, she might have things to say about what restaurants should do that I wouldn't know. Um, Saren and Cody and Tori, who used to be on the committee, would have things to say about restaurants that I wouldn't know, because they live it. So if we're going to offer trainings, we have to know, we'd have to figure out who's going to offer them, because it's not the kind of thing that people just generally know.
Yeah. So typically what we would do is to provide information. Like we provided training on response, like, so training on the ADA and on MOD for town department staff. And typically what the focus is on the legal requirements around what the city or town has to offer, what departments have to do around accommodations or accessibility. So that would typically be the stance or the mode or methodology that we would take, rather than necessarily providing, specifics around lived experience, because, we wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, the legal things, I think this document doesn't really refer to legal things. What's sort of cool about it is it's the soft, what do you call that? It's not the hard and fast law. These are the things that make people feel human. These are the things that make people feel like you want them in your place, not just, you didn't let my guide dog in, so I'm going to sue you. I mean, that's the beginning of it. But
Right.
I thought there's some sensitivity in these things about how to
Yeah,
respond to someone you don't understand,
yeah,
how to respond to, if there's a dog, ask the handler if they want a bowl of water for the dog. If,
that's
like if you need like a wheelchair, can you move the other table so that these people can, get in? I mean, I thought it was sort of soft skills that make restaurants just more inviting. It's not the law so
and
much as,
another thing that is something that really bothers me is when I go out to eat with friends, they don't even ask the question to the person with a disability. They don't. They ask to the other, what does she want to eat? Or what,
oh, always,
like,
always. Yeah.
it's just, well, I feel like saying, no, she doesn't want to eat that. It's just awful. But it's just like in their, it's a mindset,
Yes.
and you're not asking for favors. Just, we're not like a chair for it, for heaven's sake. So that is something, general training, ethical training, or whatever
I
it
mean,
is.
it's just like human training. It's sort of like, I'm sure Sarah, I know I have been places like when I used to be a town meeting member and I'd walk in with David, who was also a town meeting member. Nobody would hand me any paper. I was a town meeting member. I had a vote just like he did. He was no more important than me. Nobody would hand me paper. Nobody would talk to me as though I had a vote that mattered. It was all, to him. Um, and yeah, I mean, you are invisible.
And
People,
also, when you add to that you're a woman, that's
well, that could be too.
you
That
know.
could be too, but there were enough women. This was about, oh my God, it's a person with a cane. Maybe she can't hear me. Like, yeah, I can hear you. I just can't see you. And but I think what was cool about that document, at least it scratched the surface of how to become, how to be a humane institution and treat
Yeah,
people who are different like they actually are people, which
yeah,
I give them a lot of credit for. And so the question was, did we need to add anything to it? Did we think there was anything that we have as lived experience that would be useful? Um, and we can't really figure that, at least I can't, with a scanned document. It wasn't easy for you because I couldn't even go back and like paw through it because it was a scanned document. So for me, it was really difficult to sit down and analyze what to do with it. So I was able to read it. Um, but I guess the next step is if we can get somebody to type it up, and then, it doesn't have to be gorgeous the way they type it up. For me, it just has to have the text. So I know if it says what I want, then they can set it up to be gorgeous when we're finished with it, if that makes any sense.
Well, I
The-
think Pamela was going to request that one of the interns in the office convert the PDF to a Word document. That really shouldn't be that big a task. I mean, maybe kids don't know how to type anymore. I don't know, but it's just like I don't know, an hour and a half worth of work or something like that. That would be my hope. But
yeah,
anyway, that seems like a good first step.
yeah,
And then Pamela could circulate that document and people could respond.
yeah.
based on our own personal experiences or whatever in terms of what's
Yeah.
lacking without doubling the length of it, because it's a fairly bulky thing already and then does a pretty good job. But if there's stuff that's really
Yep.
sticking out like a sore thumb, then to make those changes and then figure out how to distribute it.
Yeah.
And
But
I
I
think
mean,
it
what I'm
should
just trying
also,
to say is it doesn't have to be gorgeous. Like don't make them do the gorgeous format yet, because if you add 2 or 3 lines, you have to reformat it anyway. So all we need at the beginning is this is what we want it to say. And then somebody can sit down and put it into some kind of a, like one of those desktop publishing things or something to make it look good. That's what I'm saying. I don't think we don't
yeah.
need, we're not up to making it look good yet.
Yeah, even these kind of things, sensitivity training should be offered in schools as well. And I will never forget one experience I had. I went to Worcester in a medical school for a big mass health meeting, it was. So the driver dropped me at the building, and then I said, okay, the rest is clear, and I will go on my own. So I got into the elevator, in the elevator with younger people, probably they were medical students. And I know which floor I was going to. And then they say, where is she going? Is she getting off here? And I remember saying, no, she's not. It was just so, they were embarrassed, Then I said, I'm going to go to the top floor. So it is just a training that people should have in their minds. In schools, when they're young, talk to everybody like just like somebody like you. Give them a chance to respond to you, or some kind of a sensitivity training.
Okay. So next month, hopefully we can have a document that we can
Yeah,
play with.
yeah.
And okay, is there anything else on this agenda?
The last thing was a discussion of the town council liaison.
Oh
And
yeah, do we
there's
have one?
I have not been informed of one yet, but the request was made. So.
Okay, cool.
But
All right.
related to that, Ian, has there been a meeting of that
Oh,
park
good question.
transportation group, or what's going on with that?
I've reached out to Athena to find out when they're meeting. I don't think uh, Pamela, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the commission has been fully formed in terms of the counselors that sit on it. Um,
I think Athena is still in the process. I have not been informed of a meeting yet.
yep.
Did we choose someone where no one asked us to have an official alternate, so we should not, but we need, I think, internally to have someone who's going to be responsible for going if Ian cannot go. I don't think they should have a meeting without our presence.
That's a good
And
idea.
nobody can ever be sure they're going to make it all the time. So I don't know if there's someone who would want to be Ian's official second or unofficial second so that this group is represented. And we would just have to tell them that we are sending a representative, and that person might or might not get a vote, who knows, but at least we'd know what they did, right? So is there anyone who would like to be the unofficial alternate for Ian? Okay, then I will. No, I think it's really, really,
It's a great idea, Myra.
I
Um,
think it's really important for us to be sure we have somebody there all the time, because you know very well that people who are not disabled don't think like people who are. They don't,
especially in terms of all the roundabouts that have been putting into town and the
in terms of
crosswalks.
everything.
Yeah, everything.
I mean, they don't think like people who are disabled. I've spoken to so many people, even about the round. Oh, I love the roundabouts. And then I just look at them. These are people I've known for 40 years. And I've said, you wouldn't if you were blind. And they, and they like, well, why not? And I talked to a guy I've also known for 40 years about the fact that I thought it was fantastic that the Conservation Commission, the assistant town manager, moved created some an entrance to that Hickory Ridge Park, right? The trail from I guess it's called West Street there. Um, I was very happy that we were all happy that they made, is it, did I just get disconnected?
No, you're
No,
still
we're still
there.
here.
No, oh, that's weird. I heard all kinds of clicking. I'm sorry. Okay. We were very happy that they made that entrance right onto West Street where there's a bus stop and everything. We were like feeling victorious. And a guy I've known for a very long time said, why? And I said, well, there's no way for anybody to get to the parking lot that's there by a bus because there isn't a bus that goes on Pomeroy Lane. And he said, well, why should they have to do all that extra stuff just because a couple people can't get there? And I'm like, whoa.
Oh man.
So I mean, this is not a man who is an insensitive person generally. They just people don't they if they haven't experienced it, it's really, really far from their consciousness. And I really think somebody from this committee needs to be present at all of those meetings because this commission needs to know what they're talking about. I don't know. For me, I think it's really a critical place. And I'm glad that you want to do it, Ian, and um I'm glad that that they put somebody from this commission on by right. We don't have to apply. When you think about it, this commission has a standing place on that committee, whereas everyone else who's interested has to apply, other than the town employees and the people on the council and all that stuff. But there are places they're taking applications. And I think that they've correctly honored this commission with a space, and I think we have to use it. So I think we always have to have somebody there. All right. So if anybody else changes their
Myra,
mind,
I have a quick
let,
question. I think everything you said there is excellent. I just the part about the entrance to the new park. I may have missed that in a meeting that I missed. But when was that announcement made about the new entrance?
when Dave Zelmek was here the last time, anybody else remember this? Jim, Saren,
He he talked about
Yeah.
a path, although how that's going to do it, I have no idea because we're talking about a lot of buildings and a lot of parking lots. But anyway, supposedly an accessible path from West Street / 116 to go to Hickory Ridge,
Yeah.
be far away from the road. Now that doesn't, I feel very strongly about this, that doesn't eliminate the need for some kind of van service somehow, which we've talked about before on this committee, to take people
Mhm.
there directly to Hickory Ridge because it's probably a good quarter mile anyway, from what I can determine just by going along that road. And not everybody's going to be able to do that.
And
Uh,
no sidewalks.
right.
Of course,
so there is going to be, they're making a sidewalk from the sidewalk to the thing.
no, from the Route 9 to Hickory Ridge. I don't think so.
Oh, not Route 9, 116.
I mean 116 to Hickory Bridge. I mean Hickory Ridge.
Yeah, there is a sidewalk there. They're putting it in as part of the whole roundabout thing. And then they're going to make a sidewalk that goes through. And good point, Jim. He didn't tell us exactly where, because the way I brought it up was I said, why don't you make parking pull-offs over off of East Hadley Road so that somebody can park a car there and get right onto that pathway that's going to go all the way through when it's finished? Why don't you just put some parking spaces up there so people can actually park a car there and get right onto the pathway? Because East Hadley Road, well, park a car there, but also get off a bus. East Hadley Road has a bus. So you could get off your bus at East Hadley Road and get onto that pathway and go into the Hickory Ridge Park. But he said they were going to do us one better. They were going to have it right off of 116. Am I remembering this right?
So my question, Myra, what you said is if the bus drops you on 116 by the roundabout, there is going to be sidewalk from there all the way to Hickory Ridge.
No,
Yeah,
they're building it.
that was the implication of what Dave
Yeah.
told us.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Wow.
Yeah,
That-
because we complained, because I was annoyed. We were all annoyed that they were making this huge thing, nothing about us without us, right? They were making this huge thing, park your car, have the van drop you off,
Yeah.
and go into it, the accessible walkway from there. And we're all like, okay, the van could drop you off if you want to wait an hour to get picked up, but if you want to take the bus there, you can't. So we were saying that it was really important for people to be able to get off the bus and go into Hickory Ridge Park, which it isn't unless they did do what they do. I think it's a good question for Dave Zomick, like, where's it going to
Yeah.
be? But
So Dave is going to join this meeting next month. He wasn't available to join today, but he
That
will,
would be nice.
yeah, join next month.
Yeah.
okay, so that's one of the questions for him about that walkway from 116 up to the other walkway in the Hickory Ridge Park.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess the whole reason this came up is just that people who don't live this don't think about it.
Yeah.
So I feel really good that this commission has had enough standing or enough status or something so that they put us right on this commission. I mean, I hope they put Tracy on there too, because she's the one who knows everything about transportation. That's her field. And I bet she applied, so we'll see if she gets on. But anyway, if somebody else changes their mind and wants to be the second for Ian, let me know. But otherwise, I will be meaning that you have to be in touch with me, Ian, if you are not going to be able to make a meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah. Good
All right.
idea.
Okay. Are we ready to adjourn?
So
Or do we have minutes?
Yeah, the last thing was the minutes, but Myra noted,
I-
Ian, that the minutes have an error because they note in the beginning that we're not
Oh,
there,
yeah.
but I think you arrived late, and so that that didn't get corrected. So
Wait,
yeah,
did Ian arrive late? Because you had a funeral to go to.
That was
Yeah.
the
no,
month
you were,
before.
yeah,
I wasn't at the January one.
Right.
So I looked at them. Am I missing where in the minutes there's a reference? You said there was a reference to Ian speaking.
Yeah.
It may have been because Mindy Dom was there and we were talking about the points that Ian had raised with Representative Dom. So perhaps that's what's going on.
No, further down it said Ian said, and
Well,
Ian recommended. And I'm like, Ian, it says up there wasn't there. And you didn't come in late because he
Right.
was at a
Yeah.
funeral
I had shared an email with
Mindy.
with
Yeah, I sent your email to Mindy.
yeah. So maybe that's what it was referring to. I can
No, it wasn't.
All
It
right.
was just like, I wondered if the AI, do you use the AI recording?
I did not, but I will ask our interns if that was the case. So
because
minutes
the
were
AI might have picked up the wrong person, because
right.
it does that.
Yeah. So anyway, so I think we're gonna hold the minutes until we
Oh,
figure
okay,
out what's going on with them, so we can get them
okay,
corrected.
okay. Ian's name was mentioned in several places, not only that he was absent.
Hmm.
So I was like, the ghost of Ian. I was like, what, when did he? Anyway, but AI, if you're using the AI feature that summarizes, it does stuff like that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'll ask the question
Okay,
today. Yeah.
okay. All right. We need a motion to adjourn.
I have one thing before we
Oh,
adjourn,
sorry.
very quickly.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, and there's more
I
people
think
here.
we should discuss the membership of this commission, because I know my term is going to expire in a few months.
Oh,
So,
you're expiring in July. I mean, your term is expiring.
yeah,
Somebody
yeah,
else does too.
yeah. So, I mean,
It's not me. I'm 27, I think.
So actually, I'm glad, Sharon, that you raised that. So I'm pulling up a message from Angela Mills.
Yeah.
Um, and she asked in the email whether you and Cody would like to be reappointed for another 3-year term. So the terms that are ending in 2026 are your term, Sharon, and your term, Cody. Ian ends in 2027, Myra in 2027, James and Reginald in 2028.
Yeah, I'm open to a 3-year term.
Sharon, do you want to think about it, or are you
well,
also
I mean,
open?
if there is somebody, I always believe in young blood coming in. And if there is somebody that is waiting for somebody to for space to be in this committee, I'm willing to
Okay.
pass.
All
But
right.
if it is not, I won't mind continuing either.
Okay. I will let Angela know. And thanks for raising that issue, because she just sent that email on Friday and I completely forgot about it.
Good.
Ian?
I think I may have found the two places that Myra was referring to. It's on the final pages of the minutes. And Myra, you were right. I was not there for that. Does not refer to an email I said. But it says Rodewalt asks a clarifying question about where people would park and how they would approach the building. That was not me. And then a little bit further down before adjourning, other business not anticipated within 48 hours. Rodewalt shared that person from December meeting expressed interest in serving as liaison. I did not at the January meeting
Yeah.
express that because I wasn't there.
Right. Yep, I see it. I think that was Jim. Was that you who shared
I
that
have a
there was?
feeling that's the case, and somehow Jim became Ian at
Yeah.
point, probably.
All right. Well, I will definitely ask our interns to review it and to make the corrections, and we'll make the corrections and send them out.
Okay. I mean, do we want to approve the minutes with those corrections? I mean, they weren't substantial. They were just like the wrong guy.
Okay. That's up to you all.
Do people feel able to vote on the minutes with the corrections of Ian being replaced probably with Jim?
Is there any way we can wait until the corrections are made?
We could.
And yeah.
Okay.
And sorry, can I add one other thing? There is one place where my name is actually correctly used, and that's at the beginning of the discussion about the mask ban legislation.
Yeah.
As Ian Rodewalt brought about this agenda item. So
Right.
that would be correct that I had brought about the agenda item.
It's true.
But then you shared, Myra, that I was not able to join.
Right.
Right.
So just in case someone tries to do find and replace all, search and replace all.
Yep.
There is one correct place for it to be used.
Good point. All right, so we'll wait until the next month. And if you come up with any agenda items, send them to me. And we need a motion to adjourn, but the next month meeting would be whatever today is, March 10th, same thing, same date in February and March.
This is Ian, motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second? There's a second from Cody. So all not in favor of adjourning, say aye. Okay, I guess we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
And
Bye.
Happy
okay.
President's Day.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Wait, did you
Thank
say
you.
Happy President's Day?
I did.
Oh, well, Happy President's Day to you too. May we not have a happy president.
Except
Oh,
for
I'm sorry.
45 and 47.
I don't want the president to be particularly happy, but anyway. Okay. Bye.
Bye.